Good evening, everyone. It is only the truth that is going to set us free here in Nigeria. You know, I so many times I used to talk about the price for falsehood because we have been living, on falsehood in this country. Now, in 1954, that is the year Nigeria is supposed to have their independence. But what happened? A lot of you don't ask questions, a lot of you don't know what is going on. It was the Britain that told people from the northern Nigeria that don't have independence now. Don't allow people from the south to have independence because these people are going to dominate and control you because they're educated, you are not educated. That was why people like Ghana, they were the first people that have independence before Nigeria. So from 1954 down to 60s, so the people of the northern Nigeria, they were having this fear of dominance. And that is the dilemma we are facing today. Because the people from the north now, everything they do is all about let us dominate, let us occupy this, let us occupy the army, let us do this, let us do that. That idea was inculcated in them by the Britain. So, Mayegun, General Politico, Dire Politico, I mean the Mayegun you know. So he was talking about, reviewing the letter P2B wrote to Gowon on his birthday, and he exposed a lot of things. Come on, I never knew that someone could be so thoughtful. You know, sometimes there is a way I'll be thinking so many things about Nigeria, and I will come to ask myself a question. Is it only me that is thinking in this way? Take a listen.
Not in Nigeria. Nigeria is a place where, giving a closure simply means Nigeria comes out and say, we are so sorry for what happened. And here is an epitaph for all that died to remind us that horrible, terrible time in the history of that contraption. But rather than Nigeria to have a closure, to apologize and compensate the Igbos. When I say compensate, right, I'm talking about a huge compensations for all the Igbos and the Igbo extraction in Nigeria. That is what you do when you do anything, because when you admit that we have done something wrong. But they don't see it as anything wrong. That is why you see people who are non-Igbos today, Nigerians who are non-Igbos, any small thing, you will be hearing that we'll go kill you again. If I say all this, the same way we did to you in 1967. I'm talking about descendants or people who never even participated in the war. Today is a slow word. If you want to abuse anybody from eastern part of Nigeria, all you have to do is just brag of how your forefathers killed them and nothing happened. We will just kill you again. We will just see all this, we just kill you again. If I say you never learn your lesson. Why? Because the Cold War continued. After no winner, no vanquish of that Olori Buruku go on, the Cold War continued. They ensured that eastern part of Nigeria today does not have any seaport, does not have any international airports. Indeed, all of this, to make the matter worse, right? The eastern part of Nigeria, for the first time in a long time, 8 solid years of Boko Haram, they ensured that even though Nigeria borrowed over $80 billion, that is meant to be borrowed by all Nigerians, there is no single federal government project started or completed in eastern part of Nigeria. Not a single one. But they continue to make them believe that if they try to say they want to live again, we'll just kill you again. So there's no closure, there's nothing. So an average Nigerian is told, who is a non-Igbo, is told that it's a good thing that this murderous genocide, this go on and go, what they did. And that is why they can use that slow word of, Unyamiri, give me water, give me water. Because of those who were running back to the eastern part of Nigeria or trying to escape the program, begging for water. Because at the national level, it has been made like you shouldn't talk about it. Just pretend that it never happened. Except for the descendant of the Biafran war, who will never forget. Nigeria, at the national level, has no single national holiday, national recognition for what happened in the eastern part of Nigeria. Not a single one. But we are one Nigeria. All of us are one, unity. That Gowon is now preaching. So when Peter Obi made that tweet, It is so cringy and it is so insulting, right? That it makes people like us who are like not Igbos feels like, how could this guy be so insensitive for God's sake? Who are you trying to impress? The head, somebody who could have prevented these killings. This is somebody who could have prevented the killings. It is unnecessary. The genocide was totally unnecessary. But it happened anyway. But Nigeria won't recognize it. Nigeria won't acknowledge it. When they killed MK Abiola, we all know the people who killed Abiola, Abi, and we all know what happened in Yoruba land when Abiola's election was annulled. People died. And guess what? Today, the death of Abiola, a politician who was a friend with these military boys, these Fulani terrorists from northern Nigeria as well, who benefited immensely from the depletion of Nigeria, looting of Nigeria. He benefited so greatly. His friends organized and denied him access to presidency. They ended up killing him. In Yoruba land, Abiola is recognized nationally in Yoruba land. And even beyond Nigeria, Abiola is given his own flowers, right? That today, they have a national holiday for Abiola, June 12th. And those who died, fighting for Abiola's mandate, they are nationally recognized. MKO Abiola is today referred to as a former president of Nigeria. Yeah, they gave him a GCFR posthumously. GCFR is reserved for the president of Nigeria only. Those guys who milked Abiola's detention, Abiola's death, they are in charge of Nigeria today, oh, by the way. But guess what? They ensured that the name of Abiola, the history of Abiola, the history of June 12 is ingrained in the minds of Nigerians, not just Yorubas. If you go to Abuja, you will see MK Abiola Stadium. Abi, if you read the national holidays in Nigeria, you will see a June 12 holiday. They call it Democracy Day. Country that slaughtered over 3 million people, civilians, they will not talk about it. So if you are an Igbo man, and you read what this guy posted, pandering, pandering to go one, oh my man, it is so cringy. He is also a man, right, that will never, for some reason, because he didn't want to offend them, I think, Nnamdi Kanu, an Igbo man, has been so unjustly treated. He has been illegally, illegally incarcerated, kidnapped for asking peacefully for a referendum for Biafra. Peter Obi won't say a word about him. He knows that he is being illegally detained there, right? But he won't mention it because he won't want to offend people. What kind of a man do you think he will be? I remember that I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year. I said, yeah, it may be different from them when it comes to administrative level. He's not a thief. Give that to him. But he's a spineless politician. He is one of those that the owners of Nigeria managed to instill a generational fear in him. Peter Obi's father was one of the victims of the Biafran war. He lost everything, according to him. His father was a businessman. When the war or the genocide started, his father lost everything, including his life. And he, young Obi, young Peter at the time, suffered greatly because of his father's demise. So he grew up to possibly deny Biafra. And he will continue to deny it, even if he is as rich as Bill Gates or as Elon Musk. He will always fear what Nigeria can do to him if he doesn't hold the line. I told people, I said, see, some of you who should know better is that Peter Obi is for one Nigeria I don't have any issue with that because he's not the only person who is like that, okay? And I said, if you think, for those who said that when Peter Obi become your president, is going to break up Nigeria, the Igbos are going to have Biafra. I was like, you are so stupid to even think that. This is somebody that will do anything and everything to prove to the owners of Nigeria that he is a Nigerian, he is not Igbo. Yeah, Obi will prove to Nigerians. I mean, I'm talking about the one Nigerianist, that he is he said it many times. He has said that many times, that he's pro-Nigeria, not pro-Igbo or pro this or that. Despite the fact that he said that many times, they still won't trust him. You get that? They won't trust him. And for him to prove to them that he's pro-Nigeria, he would actually possibly further keep Nnamdi Kanu illegally in prison. Yeah, he would do it. Because he wouldn't want them to say, he's the one that released Nnamdi Kanu, or he's the one that, you know what I mean? He would intensify. I said, Nigerian army, they will kill more Igbos than anybody else in the history of Nigeria that shouts Biafra, Biafra, if Obi become your president. Because you need to prove to them, right, that he is not, is not pro-Igbo. I am a Yoruba man, right? Even though the likes of Tinubu claim to be Yoruba, but we all know that they are not pro-Yoruba. They are pro themselves. They will just use Yoruba as a meal ticket. But this Tinubu and his gang, they will never shy away from paying their Yoruba card. Yeah, they won't. When Obi would rather, sort of shiver away because he didn't want to be, he's always been suspected. And I've said this many times as well. There are many, many Igbos like him. The reason why they will never fund or support Biafra is because if they dare, they believe the owners of Nigeria will come for them. And they are so comfortable. They are so comfortable enjoying this shithole with them. Their businesses are moving. So if Igbo land doesn't have seaport, there's no point in fighting for it. Because if they try to fight for it, the owners of Nigeria will say, the Igbos want to succeed, don't let them have seaport. If they try to fight for regional system of government, they will say the owners of Nigeria will fight against it and they may come for them. So therefore, they would rather deny their involvement. In fact, they will work more to make sure that the Biafra never happens. And we are seeing it, are we not? I think I've told many of you before who are Biafrans, so gullible enough to be pointing your fingers at others. Blaming the Yorubas, blaming the Hausas, blaming the Fulanis, the Northerners, the Westerners, as the people who don't want the Igbos to go. You are so gullible and so stupid as well. The real people who are against Biafra, they are no other people than your elite, your political class. Because since that genocidal war, which Nigeria continue a cold war against you and your region, those who are billionaires from eastern part of Nigeria, those who have been, bigger politicians from eastern part of Nigeria, they love the position given to them by Nigeria, right? Play the second fiddle. Every time, play the second fiddle. Don't let anybody see you as ambitious so that they won't say you are going to be pushing Biafra. And they do not want to associate with Biafra because they are comfortable with Nigeria. Their people can continue to be profiled, ostracized, targeted by Nigeria, okay? They would rather keep their mouth shut because they don't want to be suspected. They don't want to lose whatever they are getting from Nigeria. The day you go after the enemies of Biafra, which are Igbos, Igbo politicians, Igbo billionaires, Igbo elites, the day you go after them is likely going to be the beginning of the emergence of Biafra. Similarly to us in Yoruba land as well. But the difference is that why is Nigeria not, okay, if you want to keep the Igbos in Nigeria, as you have done for the last 50 years, what is wrong in recognizing what Nigeria did for that 3 years genocidal war? Recognize it, apologize, pay restitution to them. And then people can have closure. And say, okay, you know what? We can move on now. The likes of Peter Obi and co are telling you to let us forget and move on. They are putting the blame on you that it is so wrong for you to hate on Nigeria. Let us move on. But you are still being targeted. Development won't come to your zone nationally, except for the few ones who are ready to play balls. Use you as their own meal ticket on the desk or table of Nigeria. That's exactly what the likes of Peter Obi, that's what they represent. Pandering to the rest of Nigeria so that they can trust me. You need to trust me. I am an Igbo man. We have moved on from the war. The war is over. We shouldn't be hating ourselves. But you are not hating them enough. They are hating on you. For 64 years, the Yorubas, the Hausas, the Fulanis, the Kanuris, the whatever, what is the tribe of Ekpa? These are the people who have ruled Nigeria and ruined Nigeria. But guess who they are asking to build bridges? The Igbos. The Igbos need to build bridges. The Igbos need to build clinical. They are even asking the Igbos to apologize to Nigeria. What an audacity. What an effrontery. It is what it is. Oh. So when I saw that reaction, I was like, oh, I am so surprised that people are surprised that you could be eulogizing a murderer. Eulogizing, they are killing the Easterners as we speak. They know bump it or be well to actually make a post and take a position on it and say, you cannot militarize my region. You can't be treating my people like this. This is so wrong. The likes of Tinubu and co, they will not look away if they kill 3 billion Yorubas. If they kill 3.5 million Yorubas in Nigeria. Nah. They didn't even kill us. They didn't even kill up to 10,000 of us. When they milked it politically, they milked it to the end. Today, they consider themselves as power brokers in Nigeria. Yeah. After Fulani, Hausas, after Yorubas will be there and all of them, even though none of these tribes is benefiting from it. But I'm talking about the political class. Obi will not use his influence, his position, to actually speak against the militarization of Eastern Nigeria. He won't. Because he won't want to offend people. Who are the people? The enemies of Nigeria, called the owners of Nigeria. He won't. He won't want them to see him as, because he wants to be president of Nigeria. So, what makes him different from these criminals then, in that regard? Praising a genocidist. So he put up a post earlier. Oh, he did. He put up a post explaining himself that those of you who were upset about my post, pretty much, beautiful nonsense. He also added, okay, a beautiful nonsense here. He said, why I congratulated Gowon at 90. Let me see if I can put that on my screen. It's not there already. Why I congratulated Gowon. Can you see that? My felicitation with Nigeria's former military head of state, General Yakubu Golos, on his 90th birthday anniversary, which was celebrated by a cross-section of Nigerians. I didn't celebrate him. Has been received with mixed feelings by some Nigerians, and some have expressed their sentiments publicly and privately to me. Yes, I share in some of them, and I feel that as a leader in the vanguard of providing direction for our country, to shift base away from all our shortcomings, including the issues that caused our avoidable cruel civil war, I needed to show to the world that the ultimate heroism is forgiving the enemy and moving forward. Indisputably, the darkest part of our 64-year journey as a nation is the 30-month of civil war from 1967 to 1970, and God Almighty, whose way is not our way, must have a reason why he kept the chief prosecutor of the war, who is General Golos, alive to be 90 years today. and the man who saw the end of the war, Olusegun Obasanjo, to be there at 87 years, spearheading all the moves to see a reconciled and just Nigeria. Where is the reconciliation? Where is the apology? Where is the national recognition of that program? Are people not still being targeted today? Are the Igbos not still being targeted today in Nigeria? There was also a developing new spirit. Why the same country, Nigeria, gave the Biafra leader, Odumegwu Ojukwu, a heroic national burial on the 2nd of March 2012, when he joined his ancestors, coincidentally under my tenure as governor of Anambra. The status of the burial given, shut up, man. There are various ways human beings can respond to acts of evil. So this is the third time he's mentioning evil in this write-up, especially one that claimed millions of lives. One is the tragedy of revenge, and another offers the hope of forgiveness in an attempt to forget. Did the people who committed this ask for forgiveness? Did go on, Theophilus Danjuma, Obasanjo, Muritala, and their likes, or Bokwari, did they ask for forgiveness? No, they don't. They do not ask for any forgiveness. They brag about it. They enjoyed it. And right now, it is also their legacy, the legacy of blood. So in all my dealings with human beings, I try to be guided by my faith as a Christian. And I don't want to read this. It's pretty much more like, even like